and a move to innovate for a greener tomorrow. The company is known as NZ Yarn, a subsidiary of Carfield's Primary Wool, and hemp processing company Hemp NZ have joined forces to create what is now known as New Zealand Natural Fibres, a natural fibres and material business with global ambitions. We are joined now by Craig Carr, Chairman of New Zealand Natural Fibres. Good evening, Craig. Now, you're quoted saying the new company is aiming to be a pioneer in the global natural fibres revolution. Could you please explain what you mean by revolution specifically?
Okay, well, yeah, good evening, Sarah. Great to be on the show. Pioneer, yeah, it's a great word, but really for us, we're doing something quite new here. So pioneering is new. We're growing hemp, we're combining it with wool, and we're making, really cool products that, that can actually bring, natural fibers to the forefront of the world, really. So, while we're not quite up and running yet, we've got the factory being installed right now, and we thought it fitting that we actually rebrand it with a new name that actually, takes us forward into the future. Really talking about these two fantastic natural fibers that we can really take on and start to look at those replacements for plastics and other products that are used. So, yeah, we're really excited by what we're doing, and as I said, it's a first in lots of ways. Hemp has been processed before and all of that, but what we're doing here in New Zealand, from growing the crop, harvesting it, baling it, delivering it to the factory, and more importantly, combining it with wool, that's a unique point of difference that we have over other people in the world. Other people can grow hemp fiber, but they can't grow wool. So we just see it a huge unique selling proposition that we actually have something very unique, and the prototype products that we've put out there and we've tested with consumers, are really exciting. So, yeah, I think that is pioneering. If I can answer that in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, for those who may not be familiar, but with the different strengths of both of the fibres, combining them, what do they bring as attributes to tell not only the value chain story of how it came to be, but also how uniquely durable and the attributes they will bring as a combined fibre?
I was just going to grab the sample, but yeah. So look, both of them have unique characteristics, but obviously, hemp has been around for many, many years, but has been sort of locked away, and it's been in the last few years that has actually came out to really, talk about the attributes of hemp being, a very strong fibre, and it can be processed and then further processed and made into some amazing products. So, both wool and hemp, as we know, have great properties, but together they sort of, they benefit each other as well. And so some of the stuff that we're really looking to do takes a combination of both products where we can create that uniqueness. And that's, that's all been driven by, where we started all those many, 5 or 6 years ago, when, the Delatours Primary Wool Co-op, and at that time Elders Primary Wool, set about, saving the New Zealand Yarns factory, which, had gone into receivership. So it's been a hard 5-year slog in terms of rebuilding, the yarn business to now a profitable business. We've invested a lot into reshaping it. And really, we've really taken product to a whole different level. And in terms of hemp, we have now added that because, we're getting inquiry for more sustainable materials, and hemp can take us into other places. Not just weed matting and all those types of products, but high value clothing lines. And all of these global brands are looking for, replacements to polymer or plastics, which both these natural fibers actually offer. So, It is really exciting to see the combination of what we can create. And as I said, yet we're still in the early stages, but what we're bringing together through our R&D projects is quite exciting.
Yeah, and I like the way that you've called it earth positive choices for the brands that you will supply. Craig, do I dare ask, in your years in the wool industry, what you've learnt so far?
Well, what have I learnt so far? I mean, I've learnt it's a very passionate industry, right from the growers to our people who work in the business to the end users who actually use wool. I mean, everyone is extremely passionate about it, which is something, you don't see a lot around. And people have been involved in this industry for many, many years. And so passion for me really comes through, and when I talk to farmers, they're just down on where the prices are right now. I mean, it's a very topical topic, and I think it's because the fact is we all know it's a wonderful product. But I've been only involved in the wool industry for 5 or 6 years now, but I mean, we have learnt a lot. We've done a lot in the industry, and we're not giving up. I mean, the initiatives such as this, we need more and more of these initiatives, because that's what's going to drive the demand for wool, and that's what's going to drive the demand for natural fibre products. So, it is, I believe we've got an exciting road ahead. I think we're on the cusp of something actually in both wool and natural fibres, plant fibres, because we are just hearing and seeing it. It's not coming through right now, but everyone and our competitors and the entire industry are all working in the right direction, which I think is really, really positive. It's great to see.
Is the government on the team with this? Because we've seen reports of a $2 billion industry around hemp, yet the Misuse of Drugs Act is certainly being a handbrake to this. Are you having conversations with, of course, Minister O'Connor, who on one hand wants an action group on strong wool, yet we could do so much more structurally to benefit hemp and bring this complete dream together?
Look, where we are right now with hemp, there's no issues in producing hemp for fibre. So, ultimately down the track, if there's further legislation to allow production of CBDs and a whole lot of stuff that I'm not an expert to talk about, then that will continue to make the crop even more profitable for farmers that are growing it, which is a key driver behind what we do every day, right? But where we are right now, there's nothing stopping us growing more hectares of hemp fibre. Ultimately, we still have to be competitive on the global stage. But, we're looking to take our product, with what we're doing with the processing side of things and, taking it into that very, very high quality, if you can see me right here, almost like cotton wool type product, which is going to take quite a lot of innovation, quite a lot of technology, but we want to do it in a chemical-free, in a automated way, so we can be leading edge on the world stage of actually giving those global brands fibres that they have a trusted in supply chain back to the farm, and they can trust it. So from our point of view, that's where we're taking it. But yeah, ultimately, if the further hemp and marijuana thing all plays out over the future, the more we can get per hectare, the better for all involved. And that's, but right here today, we can produce as much hemp for fibre and as much hemp for food products, which is great. And it's a growing crop, and it has a lot of benefits to everyone who's involved in it.
Craig, I do want to talk to you around another elephant in the room, which is our secondary industry, our manufacturing industry here in this country. And I mean, you've invested in leading edge natural fibre processing facility imported from Europe. And as you said, the wonderful Delatour family and of course those behind Primary Wool Co-op saving New Zealand yarn to not go in. This is an area that we've let completely go to waste. I mean, to be able to manufacture anything of added value in this country seems like it's a bygone era. What can we do as a country to actually fund our productive sector?
Yeah, look, it's a really good point, and something I know I've been in the last few weeks particularly talking about as I get around the country, because it is one thing we do too much of is putting product into containers or onto ships that we don't add any more value. In terms of New Zealand yarn, we actually employ upwards of 50 people in that business. So, the new future natural fibres, New Zealand natural fibres, and we pay rent bills and we pay transport bills. So we actually retain a significant amount. I think it's somewhat $15 million plus is retained within the Canterbury economy, Christchurch economy, and the farming community, and obviously across the wool sector, that we actually add to that wool as a commodity. So, that actually, employs people, the factory, it creates jobs. And, for me, I think that's what we need to do more of. I'd like to see our government investing behind productive assets such as manufacturing. We've shut all these places down because we can't compete against the world. Actually, what we need to do is continue to innovate so we can compete against the world. We see a lot of these other economies around the world producing automotive and a whole lot of high-tech stuff, and their economies aren't cheap to operate in. So we can do it, and I believe that's what we need to do more of with our agricultural products. It's building a brand and building that type of supply chain is not easy, but we have to start somewhere. And so I'm really proud that we have the only independent wool yarn spinning facility in Australasia. We are extremely important to the Australian carpet industry. We can make small batches, high quality yarn. And what's been really evident through the COVID pandemic is that actually we've picked up new customers because we've been able to keep going. We were only shut for 3 or 4 weeks during that level 4 lockdown. We came straight out of lockdown and we were getting orders from our customers because they weren't being able to get product out of Europe, out of Eastern Europe, out of Asia. So we have a real right place here in New Zealand to be able to add more value to our commodity products, and that's what will drive commodity prices long term, is creating more consumer-led products.
Craig, before you go, we're talking about the marriage made in heaven, which is when you fall in love with the primary sector and you want to be a part of it. And I do have to ask you, your entire family is passionately involved in what is known as car fields in this journey. Through all of your conversations as a family about why you do what you do, what is the thing that keeps you jumping out of bed every morning?
Well, I think first and foremost, we're also farmers, so we understand the challenges that farmers face on a daily basis. We understand it's not easy. So, first and foremost, that's our roots. I think what drives us also is that we see the quality of the products we actually produce in New Zealand. And when you travel across the world, and I've traveled an awful lot across all parts of the world in the last 10 to 12 years, nothing makes you more prouder than to see New Zealand products on menus or on supermarket shelves. And so I think what drives us is we actually live in a fantastic country. We have a lot of freedom. We have amazing products. We're seen globally as a great place to live and to buy products from, and we've just got to keep on that journey. So I think for us, it's passion which drives us. It's farming, and it's around just making New Zealand really, really amazing. So that's what keeps us digging.
Fantastic. Absolute pleasure. And of course, because we only have 3 interviews tonight, I'm using the opportunity to extend these interviews with these fantastic, passionate guest, and of course that is chair of a brand new formed company known as New Zealand Natural Fibres, and of course, as I jokingly said, but by day he is also the managing director of Carfield's Group. So it's very exciting, and you can capture the full story on farmersweekly.co.nz about natural fibres being a game changer, thanks to Annette Scott.
This is Sarah's Country.